But in the meantime, I was praying about the message today, and I want to give that today. And I'm going to go into that in just a second. But I'm going to give you, before I do, and I'd like to this on the tape because this is kind of humorous. For all of you in New Orleans, you're going to really appreciate this. For those who on the tape may not quite understand this as much as we will. This is like David Letterman's top 10 reasons hurricane season is like Christmas. Hurricane season is like Christmas. Number 10, decorating the house with plywood. You go out there now, it's still plywood over all the windows. And I got a friend of mine down the street. I said, how come you never take your plywood off? He says, because hurricane season is going to be next year. Why take it off? All right, number 9, dragging out boxes that haven't been used since last season. Number 8, last-minute shopping in crowded stores. They start coming, you can't get in the store. There's no bread left. There's no milk. Number 7, regular TV shows are preempted for specials. It still sounding a lot alike, doesn't it? Number 6, family is coming to stay with you. Like it or not. Number 5, family and friends from out of state begin calling you. You haven't heard from them in a year. Number 4 on the top 10 list, buying food you don't normally buy and in large quantities. And we all realize you don't buy frozen food. All right, number 3, days off from work. Number 2, candles. And number 1, the top reason for hurricane season is like Christmas. At some point, you're probably going to have a tree in your house. Isn't that true? I don't know who makes that stuff up, but I sure appreciate it because it sure gets an audience in a good state of mind to do a sermon. Now, I want you to take a piece of paper. If you haven't got one, you can make a mental note if you don't have a piece of paper. If you're on hold when you're getting the tape, I want you to do something. I want you to take and give me a very brief definition for integrity. Integrity. All right? Now think about that just a moment. Just write a thought down. Not a whole lot. You don't take a whole lot of explanation. Write down a definition for integrity. I want to bring something out in the Bible today about integrity. I think you'll find it interesting. I felt it was a very powerful witness to me as I was going through studying this word, integrity. Now, I don't normally do this during a sermon because usually you get your audience involved and they don't know when to stop talking. But I'd like to try to take a chance at this today. I wish I had my blackboard because I love working with my blackboard. Walking around working on the blackboard. Who would like to tell me what you think integrity means? Okay, Lenny? Keeping your word. That's a good one. Okay.
Let's say keeping your word. And
I just heard that. Okay, go ahead.
Doing the right thing.
Keeping your word.
In spite of the opposition.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah, in spite of the opposition.
Keeping your word in spite of the opposition. Okay. See, that's why I don't want to do this. But I'm doing it anyway. Keep it brief. Okay. No, I'm just teasing with you. And that's exactly right. Okay, you had a hand up over here. Bobby?
Doing what's right even if it hurts you.
Doing what's right even if it hurts you. It's almost like your opposition. Okay. Doing what's right because it's a part of you. Now, that's a different take on that. All right, that's a different take, but it's saying the same thing because if you do any other, it is actually a part of you. Okay, anyone else?
I go different.
You got different.
Yeah. Doing what's right when no one is watching.
Doing what's right when nobody's watching. That's good. That's good. While y'all talking here, I'm getting my notes together so y'all don't go away. I was home doing my sermon this morning, and the phone kept ringing, and people was not calling, and Audrey kept interrupting me, and I don't have an end to my sermon yet. God willing, we will. Okay, any more before I give you a couple of written definitions? And by the way, you're all right. There's none of that's wrong. All right, now, I want to expand upon that. I'm going to give you a couple of brief definitions first, and I'm going to go into a little thing in the Bible that maybe we haven't quite thought about, that actually applies to your life and to how God looks at your integrity in relationship to His holy word. Now, if you don't get anything out of this, if you get that one point today, I mean, one point, we're talking about a salvational issue to the degree that God's going to use you to bring about Jesus Christ. We'll sum it up in one word: your integrity. Now, how many people here said that I'm not a person of integrity? We just can't say that, can we? In our hearts, we believe we're trying to do what's right, don't we? Now, does the fruits of your integrity bear out the thoughts that you're a person of integrity? All right, let's go through a couple definitions here. I printed these off the internet. They're coming from different, one's from Wikipedia, another one's from different organizations, one's from the dictionary. But look, they all pretty much say the same thing, but there's a couple that's a little different. They go into a little more depth of what God's holy word says. Integrity is the basing of one's actions on internal, consistent framework of principles. All right, that's what you were saying. Edgar was saying, something from within. Integrity is basing one's action on internal, consistent. All right, so you can't be, if you're going to be a person of integrity, then if you say something you're going to live by it today, you're going to live by that same principle tomorrow. That's part of integrity. Depth of principles and adherence of each level are next and are key to determining factors. Another one, steadfast adherence to a strict moral or ethical code. Now, there's a problem with that. Everyone is brought up differently, right? The moral code of our children here brought up in the United States, is it going to be to the same moral code of a young person brought up in a militant Islamic state? The moral code. No, it's not. The moral code for a militant group or a militant family is they're going to be militant. What was interesting, well, I shouldn't bring this up. I said something, let me bring it up. I found it was interesting that there were politicians in America were upset with the militants who made a racial statement against our future president. And I'm listening to this, it's like they're upset with a militant group who have vowed to murder and slaughter people all over the world who are not Islamic, and said that they don't have a moral right to say that. I said, this is crazy. I said, these people are vowed terrorists to kill people. And you're upset because there was a racial issue said? That they don't have a right to say that? It tells you what the mindset of the leadership of America is. It's the moral outrage because, well, it's a racial issue. That's crazy. I mean, it was absolutely crazy when I heard that. Adherence to strict moral and ethical code. All right, here's one. Honesty and virtue. Real simple. Honesty and virtue. Synonyms would be unity, continuity, and permanence. Wholeness, completeness. Now, that's interesting because, see, now we're going to look at Jesus Christ first. We're going to go into Jesus Christ. We're going to talk about integrity. We're going to look at integrity with Jesus Christ. Wholeness or completeness. Now, God gives us in Hebrews, and I'm not going to turn there, it says, and you all know this, is that Jesus became perfect in the things that he suffered, right? Now, we all understand if you go look at the Hebrew word, that became perfect means became complete. He was always perfect because he was without sin. But he needed something else. Jesus Christ needed to be able to go through what you and I go through to understand our shortcomings as he actually lived the flesh. And that's why it says he was tempted in all points just as you and I. Why? Because under the definition of integrity, it means you do the same thing consistently from a deep core value built within you, correct? All right, we all agree to that. We read that, you said it. It's from within that makes the person live a life of integrity. Now, when we don't, we all come up short from time to time. Jesus Christ can sit by that Father on the right hand of the Father as what? Our mediator on our behalf when we do not live up to the integrity of what we're supposed to. All right, that's understood. That's what was understood. Do you have a friend that you think is not a person of integrity? We all know people like that. We all know people who you say, well, listen, so-and-so said he's going to be there next week. And they don't show up. Or they say, listen, you can count on me. I'm going to be there tomorrow morning. I'm going to give you a hand. And they don't show up. And what do people do? Well, that's just old Joe so-and-so. Well, yeah, he's like that. Can you count on him? Can you depend on that kind of person? The integrity of that person's word is useless. Now, in that person's mind, if he was sitting in this audience today, and I asked, are you a person of integrity? Most probably his hand would go up. People think of themselves that way. A simple thing like giving your word and not keeping it means nothing to some people. So, oh, well, I intended to, but I just couldn't do it. Keeping your word is a part of integrity. It's honesty. It's consistency to do what is right. What if you told something to someone and you said, now don't tell this to anybody? And we've seen that on TV. The comedians talk about it. Don't tell this to anyone. I promise I won't. Hello? Man, let me tell you something. Boy, you ain't going to believe this, but don't tell anybody. Oh, I won't tell nobody. What is it? And hang up. They got one friend that they can trust, right? They got to tell that one person. And before you know it, it's going all the way back around, and everybody in the world knows what you told that one person. How do you feel about the integrity of that person? How about your mates? The integrity to know that they're going to do the right, moral, and ethical thing all the time. Now, that's important, huh? Friendships. My mother-in-law once said that show me your friends and I'll show you who you are. In other words, birds of a feather flock together. Who do you hang around with? What's the character of those people you hang with? Do they understand by your light, not your life, but your light, which is your life, that you are a moral, that you are an ethical, that you're a person of character? Can your boss walk away from the job, and as Willie said here, if he's not around, are you still going to do what's right? Now, I heard one time in a leadership message, I was at a ministerial seminar one time, and it says, whether anyone else does the right thing or not, we must. And that's interesting. That means standing alone if necessary, because the moral code inside of you will not let you do anything else. It hurts to go against breaking down that value, the principles of Jesus Christ. Yesterday we was out doing a job. In fact, we wound up with a whole bunch of them over here. And the lady was apologizing for giving us so much work. And I said, please, give me all the work you got. That's this is how we make a living. And the lady says, and it stopped me for a second, but, I make no secret that our church, we invite people to church, or we meet on the Sabbath day, and you'd be surprised how many people I meet. I was in someone's home the other day. He's a Baptist minister, an older gentleman. I told him where we're at. He said, well, you come over one day and have a cup of coffee and talk. I said, love to have you. I'd love to talk to you about God. Give us a chance to be able to let our light shine. Well, this lady, when I was walking out, she said, now, tomorrow morning, when you go to church, they know I'll keep the Sabbath day. She says, you remember me. They asked God to bless me for giving you all that work. I said, absolutely, I sure will. And that made me feel good. I felt that the people realized, and there's a biblical principle. God says that those who bless his people will be blessed. And it was amazing that, she just blurted out in a room full of people there. Now remember, when y'all go to church tomorrow, remember, I gave you all that work. Ask your God to bless me for giving you that work. I said, we're glad to. And so, does those outside and around you look at you